Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today is the day that we finally have an opportunity to check out the sick Triceratops from Nanmu. This one is definitely my personal favorite as far as the Triceratops go, and there's also 4 different releases of the Triceratops. If you are not aware or you are unfamiliar with Nanmu, they released 3 different paint variants of like a standing version, and then this would be the 4th version. The 2 other paint variants I will have a review up actually tomorrow, but we are definitely going to check out the sick Triceratops today because again, I've wanted for so long to have a really nice model of the sick Triceratops from Jurassic Park. It's such an iconic scene from Jurassic Park and something that I've always wanted to be able to include in my collection. So when I saw Nanmu was releasing theirs, I was over the moon excited, and I couldn't be more excited to have it here finally after a few shipping delays. And this was just kind of, I think, stuck at customs for a little while I was just sitting here kind of tapping my feet waiting for it to arrive, and today is the day that it has officially arrived, and again, I cannot wait to get this out of the package. So as far as your box art goes, you have a beautiful image of the Triceratops here, you know, the sick Triceratops laying on the front, as well as Heavy Lance, which is the name of our Triceratops, and then there's not really too much else going on the box. It's pretty much your standard box art from Nanmu, the usual that you get, and that also means that it's a beautiful box as usual from Nanmu. But again, let's go ahead, break this out of the box right now, and check it out. So here is the base, and straight away I just want to say that the base is beautiful. It is really well sculpted, really well painted, and in my opinion perfectly matches the terrain that we see when we meet the Triceratops in Jurassic Park when it is sick. So that is a great job done on the part of Nanmu by really nicely recreating that area of that scene. And then here is our absolutely beautiful sick Triceratops from Nanmu, and man, is this thing incredible. Again, just like the regular standard walking version, that one was just absolutely incredible, as is this sick Triceratops. And then we can place our sick Triceratops right into the spot that it is laying down in, and the scene is complete. All we need now is Alan Grant laying on the belly of our Triceratops. And I again must state that I am just so over the moon excited to finally have a diorama of this scene in my collection. There have been quite a few kind of higher-end collectible companies like Chronicle and Iron Studios, I believe, that have released, you know, larger statues of this, but they're just so expensive. And in my opinion, this one looks better than anything that either of those companies have produced as far as the sick Triceratops scene, and is just so much nicer and so much more affordable. Just an incredible job done here by Nanmu. So let's go ahead and just get a closer look at this right now. So starting up here at the head sculpt of our Triceratops, you can see straight away that the similarity, you know, the overall appearance looking similar to the Jurassic Park Triceratops is as spot on as it gets. Like, the sculpt doesn't get any better than what we see here from this Nanmu Triceratops. It perfectly replicates the JP style Triceratops, and that's something that I really kind of wanted to stress in my initial Nanmu Triceratops review, was how good of a job Nanmu did of perfectly replicating that kind of almost elongated type of a look to the head sculpt of the Triceratops that is obviously very reminiscent to Jurassic Park, and they have nailed it as far as the Triceratops sculpt goes. And also just generally like the appearance of this specific one, like even having the mouth just slightly open, exactly like we see in the scene from Jurassic Park. It is just so insanely awesome. And on top of that, the realism is just through the roof here. Like, if you look at the beak of the Triceratops, first of all, the detailing aspect is insanely well done, but the paintwork as well is just so lifelike and so realistic. Like, it genuinely looks like a real living beak of a Triceratops, if you ask me, as far as what I would expect to see if this were a living Triceratops. That looks about as realistic and lifelike as it gets. You can see the nostrils sculpted out there right behind the beak, as well as the horns, which are gorgeous up here on the top of the head. They as well are painted just about as realistically as the beak is. You've got some nice shades of color, some beautiful dry brushing over top. with a light coloration to bring some of that detail out beautifully, but you can really see just how incredible the actual detailing aspect of the horns is. You can see lots of cracks and crevices throughout the horns the entire way out, looking again exactly like they looked in Jurassic Park. You can also see that the eyes are painted perfectly. They even have that kind of squinty type of a look, as the Triceratops obviously has that appearance of it being sick, and you can see that even within the eyes of this Triceratops right here, and they're really nice, very realistic looking. The beautiful gloss coat has been added as well. There's a nice shade of like a darker brown or a black around the eye to highlight the eye quite beautifully, and there's just generally a lot going on as far as the coloration of the Triceratops. Like, you could see so many different tones of color included, but it looks exactly the same as the walking version that we saw a few days or a week back when I had reviewed that one. This one just looks incredible as far as the paint application goes, just like that one did. And you can see so much movement within the sculpt of the Triceratops, like even right here in the kind of skin, that hanging skin of the neck just sprawled out on the ground because of the weight of the Triceratops just kind of pushing that skin out. It's beautifully shown here in the sculpt, as is the actual texturing to the skin, and it's all masterfully painted by Nanmu, using a nice variation of washes and beautiful dry brushing to make every ounce of detail pop in perfect fashion. You can see the frill looks gorgeous in every area. Again, some beautiful paintwork has been applied up here with some nice lighter and darker shades of brown. They've given, again, some nice dry brushing up here. There's even some variations of like a dark gray that run throughout the frill. You can see it kind of highlighting some of those scoots that run around the frill area of the Triceratops. And the spikes that run around the frill are all really nicely done, painted very similarly to the horns up here on the head of the Triceratops, with like nice dry brushing and everything, making sure every ounce of detail pops in picture perfect fashion. And we can look over here at the opposing side of the head of the Triceratops. This is the area, of course, of the Triceratops we don't really get to see in Jurassic Park. And you can see that over here, the detailing aspect looks just as gorgeous as it looked on the initial side, but of course everything over here is kind of like squished and flattened down because the Triceratops is laying on this side. So again, just generally like right here, you can really see just how much weight of the Triceratops is bearing down on the opposing side and just kind of squishing and compacting the body of the Triceratops. But Nanmu did not skimp out anywhere as far as the sculpt or paint application of this, because they made sure that even the squished side over here looks as perfect and beautiful as the opposing side does. Just incredible work all around from Nanmu. But you can again see even like the skin reacting over here, because this leg is like pushing back up into the body right there, really scrunching the skin up, and they've shown that off beautifully within the sculpt there of the stomach region. Nice darker shades of color run the course of both the front and back legs. You've got really nice folding going on in the front leg right here. Again, perfectly replicating the position that the Triceratops is laying in Jurassic Park. And you can also see like the skin down here in the throat region kind of squished down on this side, again showing off the fact that the Triceratops is laying on this side. And you can see again as we move up through the body, the paintwork just looks great. There's so many different tones of brown included in this, and lots of really nice dry brushing has been applied. And I really love the scale detail here on the stomach region of the Triceratops. Like, look at how fine that scale detail is, but look at how gorgeous it pops on the model. It's so vibrant as far as the detailing goes. You can also see the nails are painted on our Triceratops, of course, on both the front and rear legs. You can see even muscle tone displayed within both legs. Although the dinosaur is laying down and it's obviously not flexing any type of muscles, the dinosaur would still have some pretty nice looking muscle tone showing, and you can definitely see that within the sculpt. We have lots of those trademark Jurassic Park Triceratops osteoderms and stuff showing up here and there throughout the entire figure, and you could see that gorgeously throughout the entire model. It all runs the course of the tail as far as like those osteoderms and everything go. They've really, again, perfectly, every ounce of this Triceratops looks perfect to the way it looks in Jurassic Park. You can see that same thing over here on the opposing side, again, as far as like the osteoderms running down the course of the front leg here. You can see lots of those osteoderms. You can also see the elbow is present. Beautiful muscle tone as well displayed. Like, you can see some nice muscle tone right there in the upper part of the front leg. As you come down, look at the skin detail in this leg. That is just insane. You can see so much wrinkling and just movement shown within the sculpt of that leg. That's just absolutely incredible in every sense of the word. And you can see the nails again are painted really nicely here on the front foot, given a nice dry brushing so that they pop as well. Nanmu always wants to make sure that you see how beautiful and vibrant the detail of their models always is, and they succeed perfectly every single time. And I love the nice dry brushing that they've given this so that you can see like that lighter brown kind of creeping through the darker brown within all of the cracks and crevices of the skin. And again, making sure that detail pops beautifully. They've done a great job as far as, of course, the sculpt, but the paintwork as well. Again, even more movement shown, kind of like the skin reacting within the stomach region, as far as all of the legs here kind of pushing into it. You can see the rear of the frill also looks really quite nice, but there's not really any good way to get back there, again, because of the position of the Triceratops to really see how nice that looks, but it definitely does look quite nice. You can see the spinal column up here on the top of the Triceratops running down the course of the entire body. It is nicely displayed on the model, and of course those trademark osteoderms are all over the place up here on the upper side of the Triceratops and even running down into the stomach region. And again, just like with the kind of standing standard version, we have a really smooth transition as far as the way that they've dry brushed the sculpt out with like that darker dry brushing up here, and then it transitions to a lighter coloration of dry brushing on the underside. And there's not any like obvious area where that cuts off. Like, it's a really super smooth transition as always when it comes to Nanmu. You can see even more gorgeous muscle tone back here in the thigh of the Triceratops, just an absolutely immense looking thigh on this model, as well as a beautiful kneecap right here in the front. Very nice muscle tone in the calf region as well. Really nice looking foot sculpt back here. You've got some nice creases in the ankle as well. Beautifully painted nails. You can now see the foot from the opposing side there, kind of squished underneath our Triceratops. And some more really nice skin movement right here with the kind of leg pushing forward, stretching that skin beautifully right there. They always capture every ounce of movement in the sculpt, making them look, again, as realistic as it possibly gets when it comes to a Nanmu model. And you can see that the texturing and everything of the tail looks fantastic. You have that really nice kind of bulkier looking tail, which is as well something that's very trademark to a Jurassic Park Triceratops. Like, this exact appearance to the tail is exactly how I recall it from Jurassic Park. And all of like the concept art and everything, it just, again, it looks so insanely picture perfect, and I am 1000% in love with this sick Triceratops model. And then we also have our base. Again, it has a beautiful earthy area here to the base, exactly the type of terrain that we again see in Jurassic Park, along with all of the squished down vegetation. And I feel like the vegetation as well is exactly the same type of vegetation that we see in the film when they're kind of walking down and walking through the bushes and everything to get down to the Triceratops. It all looks exactly like what I had seen in the film, and the actual paintwork as well is really nice. Like, there are so many different tones of like lighter and darker shades of brown, and it's all been brought together beautifully with a really nice dark wash, which makes every ounce of detail on this pop. And even in the vegetation, like, you could see different tones of greens and even variations of browns within the vegetation as well. So every ounce of the base looks super realistic and super lifelike, and is just like the icing on the cake for this incredible Triceratops model. Like, it just feels so super high quality. And then the underside does have the Nanmu logo, as well as heavy lance down here. So a beautiful base to go with an incredible Triceratops. And then as far as the Triceratops itself goes, you just kind of have to find like the grooves as to where the Triceratops lays. And you can see it lays in there perfectly with no problems whatsoever. And you can also see that the vegetation, again, is kind of reacting exactly to the movement of the Triceratops, like squished down there. And again, it all looks beautiful as far as the entire appearance of this model. As far as a size goes on our sick Triceratops, you are looking at about a foot long in the length department, or about 30-31 centimeters, somewhere in that range. So definitely a really nicely sized Triceratops. As far as the base goes, you were looking at right around like the 9-inch range, or 23 centimeters. And then for a height, of course, our Triceratops is laying down, so we're not going to have too much of a height, but you are looking at a solid approaching like 3.5 inches, or about the 9 centimeter range if we go by the frill right here. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line. next to our beautiful sick Nanmu Triceratops. And I think next to these figures you can absolutely see that the model does sport a really impressive appearance as far as, of course, the paint and sculpt, but the size as well. It definitely is a very sizable piece, and that's something that can often be said when it comes to a Nanmu model. So you really get a ton of bang for your buck on this sick Triceratops. And then for a second comparison, here is the standard kind of walking perfectly fine and not sick version next to our sick Triceratops. And I must say it is incredibly cool to see two different Jurassic Park Triceratops together, because that's something that I feel like I can't recall exactly, but I don't think we ever actually saw in any of the Jurassic Park films. Of course, in Jurassic World we did, but the Triceratops look different in Jurassic World compared to what they looked like in Jurassic Park. So actually having two different Triceratops here, one sick, one not sick, and having them both together is just an unbelievable diorama that you can create when it comes to these gorgeous Triceratops from Nanmu. So this Nanmu sick Triceratops, in my opinion, is without question a dream come true, because it's something that I've wanted to have in my collection since I was a child, since I saw Jurassic Park way back when that movie had initially come out. I always kind of sympathized for the Triceratops. I always felt so bad for the fact that it was sick, and being a Triceratops, it's so many people's favorite dinosaur growing up, so it was such a sad moment in the film to see the Triceratops down and out and sick and everything. And ever since then, it's been one of the most iconic moments from Jurassic Park, and it's something that I've always wanted to have a display piece of in my collection. And thankfully for us, Nanmu is here to consistently make dreams come true and give us the absolute best as far as Jurassic Park style dinosaurs go, and this is a picture-perfect rendition of the sick Triceratops from Jurassic Park. Like, they nailed it in every aspect. The Triceratops is beautifully sculpted, again, taking highly detailed to new heights as usual when it comes to a Nanmu model, but also matching the insane amount of detail with an insanely gorgeous paint job, because they always give us the highest of quality paint jobs to go with our highest of quality sculpts. And you can see that, I think, in every area of this model. The Triceratops just looks 1000% realistic and lifelike. Like, looking at it here on my display table, I almost expect it to, lift its head and look at me and say, "Hey man, you gonna get me some Tylenol or something? Because he's obviously sick and he needs some medicine." But it definitely does look really lifelike, very realistic, and again, super impressive in both the sculpt and paint. They captured the JP Triceratops perfectly, whether it's the sculpt or the paint job, it all looks perfect. And then the base is just the icing on the cake, like I had stated earlier, because they really did a great job on the base, making it look, again, pretty much exactly like what I would expect it to look like when it comes to the scene that it is recreating. Again, keeping that type of vegetation that you do see in the scene in Jurassic Park, as well as the very nice earthy area. They've given beautiful tones of color to, and a very realistic sculpt overall. So this Nanmu Triceratops, the sick version and actually the living version, are two of my favorite models in my collection, unquestionably. I've waited a very long time to not only get one good JP-style Triceratops, but Nanmu has given us two here with two different sculpts as far as the poses and everything goes. We get the iconic sick Triceratops and then the standard kind of healthy Triceratops. So you get the best of both worlds. Absolutely awesome, as always, from Nanmu. So if you are interested in picking this up, I will include a link in the description to Dan's Dinosaurs, where you can head over there and pick both of these up if you are interested, and make sure you do, because you would never in a billion years regret that purchase. They are incredible. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe before you do, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.